Hello. Welcome to the Grieving Sisters. I'm Jessica.
I'm Elizabeth.
And we are back. And how you been doing? It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
Like these last couple of, weeks have been a lot. Like, real time, like we do record ahead of time.
Right.
But
we're way
far,
in the future.
Yeah. We're far.
We're heading towards the end of the school year.
Yeah.
Which is great. Birthdays.
The Knicks lost. Whatever. That was like peeling a scab real quick. Just ripped it off.
Horrible.
Ripped it off.
But they had a good run.
Yes, totally.
They had a good run.
Totally.
But yeah, I feel like it's a lot. Graduations, birthdays, you
June
have
is
recital
always...
with the baby, like dance, like there's just like.
But I also feel like June is like for me is like your birthday, my brother's birthday,
right.
And now this is going to be the first Father's Day.
See, we're on the same.
Yeah. So I
was literally telling my mom, I was like,
this is the first Father's Day without my dad.
It's going to be your first Father's Day without your dad, and my first birthday without my sister.
Yeah. So this is, I don't know. I mean, kind of packed up that weekend as like I usually do. I usually just, keep as busy as possible. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm thinking about
doing the same thing for my birthday weekend.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try to get away. I'm not telling anybody that it's my birthday.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just going to maybe look at the last video I probably posted of him. Not him in the hospital, but like him. It was like, this man just loved music and loved dancing and just loved whatever. So anytime that they had like an event at the place where he was staying at the assisted living, it was the funniest thing because they always had like a guy like, and he was just like so like corny. But he was like so funny for the older people. Like, they hire him to do things like that, or they sing karaoke. They used to have like happy hour on Fridays, like really fun things for the people who were there in the assisted living. So when we went, like they would, okay, how many people? Okay, you guys come and eat. They like make the food for us.
Right.
I would bring like a bottle of wine for my dad.
Right.
During COVID, like we weren't really, we had to do like private room stuff, which was fine by me because I was like, all right, like what do you want? And he's like, well, I want a seafood boil. And you have no idea.
So you know what? You should have a seafood boil.
Oh, I am. But I just don't like he's a lobster guy. I was a crab girl. I'm a crab girl.
Me too.
Because you never get I don't
know what the big buzz is about lobster.
I think it's gross. Because what? Somebody from River Palm. Damn, shout out River Palm.
I've never been there.
Are you? Okay, it's done. Consider it done.
I was looking at it the other day. I'm like, best steaks. Like, I don't know how.
Yeah, we're share a porterhouse. Have a great day. All right, well, we're going there. We're going there. And their sushi is phenomenal. But I asked the guy, I go, what's the deal? I said, because he asked me, he's like, do you want lobster or do you want crab? And we can deshell it. I go, oh, fancy.
Right.
Deshell that bad boy.
Right.
But why is it that I don't like lobster? But he goes, because crab is consistent. Lobster, you have to get a good catch.
It's true.
I said, that makes sense. I said, I didn't know that.
Once in a while I'll have lobster and I'll be like, this was really good. And
yes.
Sometimes I won't. But I'm a king crab girl.
Oh, snow crab.
But unfortunately,
crab.
so is my son.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're 15. You're not having a $70 crab leg.
I was about to say, like, he needs like 8 of them.
But I get it anyway.
Yeah.
And then we get oysters, and then we like,
Oh, I love that. So, but that's it. So like my dad loved like the oysters and the seafood. Like we used to go crabbing, like, so it was just like it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And so I may do that.
Yeah.
I may do that. I don't know. We'll see. Because also like, I got to celebrate my husband. So it's like, maybe I'll just get like some wine for him or something. I don't know. Because I'm on this like 8-week challenge. I have to lose 6% body fat and I don't have to pay $179.
Just won the challenge, by the way.
And I did win the challenge. We didn't bring it up the first time, but there was a 6-week challenge. I paid $50 and it was who was able to lose the most body fat. And I gained 1.5 pounds of lean muscle, and then I lost
like 2% of your body fat.
2.8% body fat.
Don't you forget about that 0.8.
Okay. Yes, that 0.8.
That 0.8
because you can round it up, and
40,
it's 3.
Okay?
Yeah, right. True story.
I'm working my ass off.
Yes.
And I'm like barely losing.
Well,
shit.
and it's so hard to lose more and more weight. So it's like, but I did win that challenge. Shout out to Dreams of Inglewood. Shout out Jonathan and Eric.
We had a pretty good hitting goals these past week or two.
Yeah. And that's it too, right? Like, so we've been grinding out with that and just, trying to keep up with you guys. And, obviously now jumping into this topic, which is about, like, we were talking about gender, like we're talking about grief and gender and how women and men mourn differently. And I think this is very important. I thought it was a very important topic to talk about because, as for women, we're known as the most emotional people. We're very emotional. We're, the criers. We're the ones that are dramatic and whatever the case may be.
We wear our heart on our sleeve
and all this stuff. But men are supposed to stay strong. And, it's quite crazy that, I know a few men who have lost children. And, even when my dad with my brother, he lost it. He threw himself on the floor. Like he was very into it.
Physically.
Yeah.
I think that my father had the most physical, well, you saw him.
Yeah.
Like my father had the most physical reaction.
Yes.
Like it's not even that I've never seen my father in such pain. I've never seen a man.
A man, yeah.
A man.
But then you have another, I have another, like he lost his son and turned back to drugs. You have another man that, lost his son and he's still, to this day, it's like 13, 14 years later, I actually sent it to you, he's still grieving. So it's like, they don't know what to do with it, right? Because their love is like, I feel like they're still in that anger stage and they're supposed to be protecting and they weren't able to protect their kid. So I just feel like there is a lot of that going on, that there's that pent up anger and they don't know who to take it out on and they don't know, like they're struggling with that.
It's very, very, very hard to feel like you want to protect your child and then both of our younger siblings died such a devastating way and a painful way, that it's like, it was quick, but we can't say that it wasn't painful.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, and then like they do it because of fear, right? Like, so men, I feel like they're very fearful because everybody's going to be judgmental. And then like, then they start to like really be judged like, oh, well, look at you. Like you got to man up. You got to be strong. And it's like, well, how come? And then they're least likely to look for like professional help too. So it's like, how do you even guide men like us? I think you mentioned, how long did it take for a parent to finally 6 years, right?
6 years.
6 years.
So the average time that a parent seeks professional help after losing a child is 6 years.
But so 6 years, but was that a mother or a father? So now that's the question.
Interesting.
Because maybe it's the mother.
I think it was parents, but it may have been the mother because this was taken from like David Kessler's like bereaved mothers.
Right. So it might be just for the mothers, which brings me to like, okay, what about the fathers? How do they grieve? Like, do they, source to drugs? Do they source to, other unhealthy ways, I feel like.
Yeah, like it was saying here, from stereotypes around emotional expression to like support seeking behavior, like traditional gender roles often dictate how people are allowed to grieve.
Right. And who's to say, what do you mean allowed to grieve? Like, so that kind of brings us back to a couple of episodes prior, like, what is grieving? How can we grieve? In what ways are healthy ways to grieve? Letting a good cry out. Like, I feel like we've definitely jumped on some gems on that, you know? I also feel like, like some of the research that I was doing, a lot of women just tend to lean on support networks, like a friends, family, therapists and stuff like that. And it's just like, how is grief really perceived, right?
Right. And emotional expression, right?
Yes.
Like, women are encouraged to talk about their feelings, which can lead to a more outward grieving process.
Right.
I mean, look at us.
Right.
We're two women, and we're like, let's, like we even joked about it today when I was with my family. Like we were talking about how like the kids aren't really sharing, and is it a kid thing? Like for CJ, for my son, is it a kid thing?
Right.
Or is it a boy thing?
Right.
Because they're like, well, look at you. Clearly, my daughter's writing about it.
Yes.
I'm talking about it on a podcast. So it's like, is it grief? Like women tend to grieve like outward, where men suppress their grief because they're going to appear weak. So they internalize the grief and it's all inside.
Right. Well, it's like the same, like even with my husband, he when he found out about like, he was just like, you can see like the shock on his face. He was very upset with my dad, like, you know, because they had such a bond already, you know. Even with when he found out about his cousin, you know, Eric passing away, when he found out about his uncle passing away, like, and these are people that he just redeveloped relationships with because of, you know, the father passing away, like, you know, he went, you know, teenagers, they're about their life in their early 20s, but it just so happened they started to regrow, like rebuild such a relationship. And then out of left field, like they both passed away. So it's like, you know, he had a lot. And, you know, I always check in from time to time. He's like, you know, I just wish like Uncle Tony was still here. I was like, I still hear him, you know, say, he's always like, sobrina, every time I would walk in the door. And he's like, come on, come sit down, have a drink, tell me about everything, you know. And that's just the type of person that he is, you know. But even when he lost his son, he was just like, man, like, what do I do? But then it's like also like, is it also the Hispanic thing, right? Like, well, what do I do? What, you know, like men are not supposed to show that type of grief. Which is really...
It's interesting because I've like when my sister was in her casket at the wake, my father was the only one who had went in first and saw her. And then they were waiting for me and my mom. My mom waited. My mom and my dad went together. My dad went and my mom waited for me and her to do it together. So we went in and like my dad was there. And even though he was like falling apart, I'll never forget how, like, I didn't realize I was going to have this like guttural scream when I saw her. Like even after, I was like, oh my God, because I feel like I scared people. Like my kids were out there and family started coming in. But because I didn't realize, like I started screaming. And the way my dad grabbed me and he was like, I know. So it was like, had his strength not been there, I don't know if I could even walk to the seat. The way he's like, I know you lost your best friend. I know. And I was just like, you know, like it's, you know, to be loved is to be seen, you know, and I really felt seen in that moment, even, you know, whatever.
And the layers, there's layers to that, right? Because just of the relationship that you have with your dad, right? Like, wow, but now he actually really sees me too. Like, and not only as like a daughter, but as a human, as a person, as a woman.
As two adults that loved this person. You know what I mean? Because besides what the relationship was between me, him, my sister, it was like, we all adored her, you know? So it's like this tremendous loss. But so, I mean, I feel like men do have a very, very, very tough role when it comes to grief. Because at the end of the day, the societal expectations is that they are strong. So it's like, did my dad have the strength to support me in that moment? No, but he doesn't have a choice.
He didn't. Because he needed to be the protector.
Who else is going to pick turn it on? Who else is going to pick up this girl off the floor? You know what I mean? Like, So.
So I definitely get that. Even like with my dad, it was not funny, but like at my brother's funeral, at Sean's funeral, he, you know, he sat in the front row. My auntie was there, which is his sister, and my her daughter, which is my cousin, and then her kids were there. And they were all sitting like in the front row, whatever. And, you know, as they were leaving, everybody was leaving, they were like, okay, do you want us to come tomorrow? I said, it's up to you. Like, we're just going to bring the body to the crematory, let them do their thing. And, you know, we have to wait until the niche is done. Niche is done or whatever. And my dad was just like, okay, like they were going to go bring him back to where he is in the assisted living because they both lived in Jersey City. He turns around, he's like, well, I'm hungry. And they're like, your son just died. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm hungry. And it was just like.
But I also think, I wonder if that was his way of like staying around you guys more.
Yeah,
and like,
it could have been.
Like, come on, let's eat. Let's spend more time. Like, instead of me going back to assisted living, let me like spend more time. Because you probably all ate together.
Yeah. Well, no. So after my brother's, like, I think I went to, I don't even remember. I can't even tell you. I don't even remember because I just remember, no, I think we went to the diner. I don't even remember. I got to be honest with you, because that's how much of a blur it all was. But we weren't together. They were just bringing my dad down because he, you know, lives in Jersey City. But with all that being said, he was just still, I just feel like he still didn't process it, right? And he was very depressed. So, you know, I had the social worker like check in on him and things like that. But it's really sad. But I am seeing a lot more males like stepping into therapy. And I'm just saying that like as an overall thing. Right. You know, you just got to find the right therapist. I feel like you got to find vet them out. Listen, I'm a therapist. This is like, I have a conversation. I do 15-minute consultations and I'm like, yeah, we're not the right fit. I'm going to set you up with somebody else.
Right. To your point, I feel like people go and they meet with a therapist and they don't really get like, it doesn't click.
Yeah.
And then they'll try like maybe 1 or 2 more people and they won't. But like, I know someone who went through 6.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like dating.
It is.
You have to like.
It literally is.
You can continue to like talk to different therapists until you find one that feels like my therapist now, she's like, she says this things like, my heart is with you. And it's just like, to me, I was like, it was just such a real thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And
but she said the right things, that you had the connection and the chemistry. And that's it. Like for me, you know, when I had my therapist, I had one and, you know, it just felt like a friend conversation. And I was like, I said, you know, with my brother's passing, this was like a huge awakening to me. I need to dig deeper. So I had to find someone that challenged me, and she wasn't challenging me. So I was just like, nah. And then the summer was here, like I kind of said in a previous episode. I was like, oh, the summer was here. Girl, it's time to drink, and I'm working out, and we're having a good time, and I'm able to be occupied. But then when the winter came around again, I was like, yeah, no, it's time. Like I had, well, and not only that, then I was losing all these friendships. Like all these friends were, you know, they started to scatter because it was starting to get heavier and they didn't know what to do with me anymore. So I was just like, whatever, like I'll just go to therapy. But, you know, she challenged me, and I feel like, you know, men, they don't even know where to start. You know, they don't even know where to start. Listen, psychologytoday.com. You go, you plug in your insurance, you plug in whatever you want. Headway, now there's BetterHelp. There's so many different things.
I went on Grow therapy.
Look, great. As a matter of fact,
so easy.
Could you sponsor? Can you sponsor us?
Hello. Hello.
We got listen. We're just hello.
It was very easy.
Actually, they have Black girl therapy too. They have Black girl therapy. They have Black men therapy. They have Hispanic therapy. Like there is just like the Latina community, Latino community.
When I'm looking for any sort of provider, I'm doing like my sister. My sister is a woman of color.
Yes,
she's a woman. That's what I do. Gyno. Therapy. Like you need to be a woman. I'm sorry. I'm not talking to a man about my problems.
No, like they don't get it.
I'm sure there's so many amazing people, but like for me personally, if you don't know what a period is like, we are not the same.
Back
like
to the period.
Like you need to understand the phases. If you don't understand the 4 phases and why I am like crying one week and and this week and this like you know what I mean? Like I need to be able to pull out my app and be like, okay, so this is where I am
what's
today.
going on. Where's my chocolate?
In the next 3 days, I may have to deal with this. Like you need to understand that. Like,
yeah, totally.
I need to have
But I think that the thing is like I think that we need to start like breaking those stereotypes. I think like one of the things is like, you know, men can cry. They do have emotions. They have tear ducts. Like, if not, like, we can just stab them in the eyes. It's okay.
Right.
No.
I went to read a note. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. No. But it's true, right? And like, how to like share their stories and like kind of just emphasize on that. Of course.
This is talking about it right here, breaking the stereotypes, right? The benefits of redefining masculinity and femininity in grief, promoting emotional openness for both genders, you know? And it doesn't have to only be therapy. It could be support groups. It be connecting with others that have experienced similar losses, which is exactly what we're doing. Right. Our demographic is pretty much split even, women and men. Yes. I know we're two cute chicks up here talking about stuff. Hey. But you know, we have a lot of male. We're leaving that in. We're leaving that in.
I mean, I'm just saying.
That too. If you want to come look at how cute we are, we'll
at least listen. We do put some. We do put some effort.
Listen, I did my hair today.
I washed mine.
Me too.
But But, you know.
Oh my God, I cannot do this gym. I want to chop my hair off so bad. Like, I cannot do this workout journey and long hair.
No, that's why I just didn't. I just tell you, I'm putting braids in. Like, we're done. But, like, even that, right? Like, you're sitting there and you're getting your hair done. Then you get stuck in grief, too, because it's like you're sitting there and you're like, wait a minute. I used to do this during this time and then this place. And then you just start spiraling, you know, like, and usually every summer I usually get my braids done and it's always around my brother's birthday. And so he's always like, oh, you did your braids again. Right. He's like, you did it again. And, you know, or my dad would be like, oh, really, Jesse? Like, you got to put them in again? Like, you know, and I mean, they're all for the natural hair. They were, right? But it's like, even if you sit there and you think about it, we always still come right back to the same thing and still grieving, you know, our siblings and still grieve. Like I'm still, like I said, like even with my dad, but just watching my dad when we had to tell him about my brother was, it was huge. It was just like we were just with him the night before. It was his birthday, you know, and as I don't know if you guys saw episode, I think it was 4, you know, I talked about.
Right. It was your dad's birthday.
It was my dad's birthday and I had to confirm the body on my dad's birthday and then go back the next day and let him know like this is what happened. Yeah. So it's like, it's really crazy. Like just the stereotypes and just like the balance is just, it's not equal, you know, and I know eventually.
Yeah, I think men deserve a break when it comes to grief. I really do. Like, and I'm a man basher most of the time.
You're so funny. Stop. Stop it.
No. This guy was like, "Oh, you have TikTok?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna follow you." I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, all I do is talk shit about men and take cute pictures. And he's like, really? He's like, are you going to talk about me this weekend? I was like, I might. Like, I don't know.
Surprise. Surprise. But even so like, and then, you know, we have another topic to talk about, which is like trauma bonding. But I saw something today and I shared it with you about Vanessa Bryant. Like, okay, we got to go into this just to kind of touch on it because
give her a break.
It's been 5 years and you guys are saying it's too soon for her to move on, but a man can move on in like 5 days.
Oh, there are like, if you watch some old movies, like in the beginning of time,
sure,
but especially even up until like 50s, 60s, like when a man loses his wife,
right away.
It's like, well, and especially if he was a father.
Yes.
It was like he needs to find another wife to help take care of the kids, to help take care of him. Like, it was so normal. But God forbid a woman. A woman has to be in mourning for years and years and years and years and years.
There's a few women that I know that will never move on. They're like, nope. Yeah. Nope. And they're young. They're like now in their 50s and I think he passed like in their 30s from like a heart attack.
Right.
She's
I
still
think David Bowie's wife, right? She always talks about how that's the love of her life and that she says like they're never like she says I'm still married.
Yeah.
Because she's like, just because he died doesn't mean that I'm not married to him anymore.
Right.
We never divorced.
Right.
We were married until the end and I'm still married. Just because he's not here in the physical, I'm still married to him. Right. I thought that was beautiful.
That is beautiful.
That was a really beautiful way of saying it. It wasn't like well, I'll never do that because I'm loyal.
Well, right. Don't ever say I'll never do something because that comes to bite you back.
It's also very like pick me, like
yes.
I'll never. That's my, it's like men who go to jail and women are outside waiting for them, which I don't believe in.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
What about if it was Aaron Hernandez though? I'm just saying.
I'm scared of him. But listen.
I said that to my husband yesterday.
Step on Diggs, I might wait for it. Yeah.
I said to my husband about Aaron, I was like, oh my God, he's just my type. He goes, you know, he was crazy before CTE, right? And I go, just how I like him.
Oh my God, you know what I heard? Speaking of football.
Oh boy.
I heard, first of all, I didn't even know Russell Wilson was on the Giants.
When did that happen?
Apparently it just happened.
And it just happened.
And him and Sierra moved to my neighborhood. I don't want to say my neighborhood on the internet.
Oh!
But apparently Sierra's in my neighborhood now.
Oh, once you stepped right to her house. Where are we going?
Well, you know, Aaron Rodgers is there too.
I saw that. And I saw his house. It's actually very nice.
Gorgeous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like I live in like
but I was like
a little shack.
I know. It's like that's how I feel.
But that's so, just to kind of like reel it back, because listen, we're again professional yappers, right?
We're just gonna go off on a tangent all the time.
At any chance we
get.
This is
probably what gets the most engagement.
I think so too. But like, you know, if you feel, and this like kind of goes to men, like if you really feel like you need someone to talk to, or if somebody sent this to you, like, you know, you had like your parents pass away, your brother pass away, your you know, especially like I think like if you were really close with your dad, and you know, or you lost a child, like, you know, you can absolutely reach out to us. I mean, if you want professional help, I'll send you some referrals. You know, or even Good Grief. You know, we had Annette on. I can't wait to have her back. Like, she is just like full of information. You know, just to give you some good resources. And it's not something that you have to post on social media. Like, that's another thing. It's private. Like, if you are going to therapy and they're like, and you know, your boys are asking you, yo, what are you doing? Oh, well, I'm going to therapy. No, you don't. It's like that commercial. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm going to therapy. Yeah. What do you mean you're just going to therapy? I've been in therapy. And then the other guy's like, yeah, I've been in therapy too. So it's like, they're trying to normalize, like, listen, just go ahead and get like that non-biased and that unbiased space that you can kind of just vent all your stuff out to. And
it is very much like each one teach one. Like,
that's it.
If you are a man and you have been through grief, why not like help the next guy out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why not be like, you know, this is totally normal.
Right.
What you're feeling or what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Or, you know, pick up something positive like running or, you know, whatever it is, you know, like, and like what it's saying here is like, by breaking down these barriers and allowing individuals to grieve in a way that feels authentic to them, we can create a more compassionate, understanding space for all grievers.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think that it was perfectly written in such a sense that, you know, just to really help these guys, like you know, Ram Dass says, and it's actually on my Instagram, we are just all walking each other home.
Yeah.
And I mean, I live by that, because it's like, okay, well, what can I get you to be more in alignment within your journey?
Right.
And how much can I help you? Right. And it's like, you know, sure, we have all the social media stuff. You can read stuff, you can do all of that. But in the same breath, it's like, but really? Like, can we really do all of that?
Right.
It's just and I feel like also social media is just so overwhelming.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you just want to shut down, you know, like the stuff that I see. And now there's like different challenges on TikTok, dealing with grief and dealing with stuff. And I was just like, I'm even like, oh my God, like I'm frazzled, because it's like, sometimes it's just too much. And we just got to get back to the basics and just like maybe go for a walk.
Right.
Go for, you know, a hike, go to the gym, just do more healthy things.
Yeah.
To be able to express our grief, you know, and our love for our loved ones, you know?
Join a run club. There's a lot of cute people there.
Oh, here we go. Oh, that's the other new thing, right? The run club with dating.
Everybody's beautiful. I feel like everybody's so beautiful when they're running.
Yeah.
It's such a, like,
because they're glistening with sweat.
True.
And smell.
True. I like that slow motion Baywatch ride.
Oh,
you know?
Boy. Oh,
Am I ovulating? Is that what it is? Am I in that phase?
Yes, we are.
I think I am.
Yeah. We're definitely we're synced.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, everyone. On that note.
Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you so much for always supporting us. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Tickety Talk, and Instagram. Leave us some notes.
We're on LinkedIn now too.
And LinkedIn.
I've been doing some great LinkedIn posts.
Yeah, I've been putting like the posts. I've been putting it public. So my page is still private, but I put it public, and I've just been trying to reach out to even some other people like in the workplace and things like that. Yeah. So reach out to us. We're always ready to talk, and
always we try to engage as much as possible.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.